In this video, we are going to look at how to solve definite integrals. Now, the main difference between definite integrals and indefinite integrals is that our integrals will now have bounds. So, say we are integrating some function of x with respect to x. Now we will have bounds, so we will say we are integrating from a to b. A will be our lower bound and b will be our upper bound. The solution to this problem, which we will denote capital F of x, can now be solved. And how do we solve this? Well, what we do is we plug in both the upper and lower bounds and subtract the lower bound from the upper bound. So our answer will be our capital F of b minus capital F of a. You might notice that we never added a c like we did with indefinite integrals. We did a plus c at the end because we never knew if there was a constant. With definite integrals, we do not need to do plus c. So now let's look at a couple practice problems. Say we're integrating from 1 to 2, 3x squared dx. This might seem complicated, but it's actually quite simple because all we're going to do is the reverse power rule. So to do this, all you do is you raise the power by 1 and divide by that new power. So 3x squared, we're going to raise that power by 1, so that becomes 3x cubed, and then divide by that new power. So divide by 3, and this simplifies down just to x cubed. Now we're not done. We have to plug in our upper bound and then our lower bound and subtract them. So plugging in our upper bound first, right, which is 2, we're going to get 2 cubed minus our lower bound, so minus 1 cubed. This just becomes 8 minus 1, which is equal to 7. We can continue doing this even if we're adding or subtracting something we're integrating. So say we're doing, let's see, we'll use the same bound. Say we're integrating from 1 to 2, 3x squared minus 1 dx. We already know what the integral of 3x squared is. We just solved it, right? So it's going to be equal to x cubed. And then what's the integral of 1? Now remember, integration is just reverse differentiation, right? We know that the derivative of x is 1, so that means the integral of 1 is x. So 3x squared minus 1, when we integrate it, becomes x cubed minus x. Now we're going to plug in our upper bound and subtract our lower bound. So we'll have, our upper bound is 2, so we'll have 2 cubed minus 2, and that, let me put those in parentheses. And this is going to be minus 1 cubed minus 1, which simplifies down to 8 minus 2 is 6, minus 1 is 0, so our answer is 6. Another thing we can do is when we're just starting off, we're not doing anything too complicated, we can do our trig functions, right? Say we are integrating, we'll use numbers, we won't throw in pi yet, we'll keep on using 1 and 2 just because it's simple. If you're integrating trig functions, more often than not, you will have pi because you'll actually get an answer, but we'll just use 1 and 2 for now. So let's say we're integrating cosine of x. Cosine x with respect to x. If you remember from derivatives, we know that the derivative of sine of x is cosine x, so that must mean that the integral of cosine x is sine x. Now we need to evaluate our bounds, right? So we're going to have sine of 2 minus sine of 1, and this can be further simplified, but I'm not going to do that. It's whatever. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope you learned something.